Good afternoon. I trust everybody is well. I believe we're live on different platforms, so I just want to greet everyone on all the different platforms. So it's going to be very short and brief, straight to the point. I think some of us might have seen the article on Sunday World. It was very important that I address this, that I deal with some of the content in that article. I'm not someone who normally responds to these kind of gossips and false, unethical journalism, but I felt it was important. I think I've got some sort of a responsibility to those of you who've been following my journey throughout the years. And I think when you read something like that, as much as it left a very bitter taste in my mouth, I think it probably had the same, if not similar, effect on you. And you probably were left with a lot of questions, asking yourself, Sandile, what's going on? This is what we're reading. It seems to be very far from the Sandile we know. Has something gone wrong? So let's get straight to the point. There's an article, Sunday World, that was published on the 7th of June, 2013 by Julia Madibogo. I think it's very important that I also state the fact that if you've gone through some of the articles that have been published over the past couple of months, every single one of these articles has been published by the same journalist. From day one, it's the same journalist publishing pretty much the same story, twisting the truth, making up some of these stories. Hence why I find myself sitting at home, getting calls, people saying, Sandile, you are wanted. And I'm like, but who? Who wants me? Who's looking for me? I call the Hawks. Is there something happening? Should I be concerned? So there's been a number of different articles that have been published by the same journalist. And I think it's very important that some of you begin to ask yourself, why do all the other journalists not publish this story? Is it not newsworthy? Is this a personal attack? What is the outcome? What is it that these people are trying to actually achieve through this narrative that they're trying to create? And I think for me, the article that came out yesterday, 7th of June, was the final straw. It is very important that going forward that I actually address these matters. Those of you might have not seen the article, it's Sunday World. It says Sandile was shopping up a storm. Sandile was shopping up a storm at A2 in Hyde Park. I think number one, if you are smart enough, you'll actually realize that according to this article, I arrived in a Mercedes-Benz, a Porsche Mercedes-Benz, to be exact. Firstly, that's not true. If it is true, can those pictures or images of me arriving in that vehicle be released immediately? If you go and look at the image that was actually used on that article, that was taken from my Instagram. And apparently, there's videos of me shopping up a storm at Hyde Park. There's pictures of me shopping up a storm in Hyde Park. Yet, I'm using these victims' money, apparently. The question is, why were those images not published? If there are images of me walking into A2, walking out with bags at A2, where are those images? Where are those videos? Secondly, it is said that I was actually wearing a Vugani Ma-Africa t-shirt, which is not true. The car that I arrived in is not true. Number two, the t-shirt I was wearing is not true. Number three, the store that I was shopping in is absolutely not true. And I think for me, what's important right now is to just put this on record that it is about time that we actually address, or personally that I actually take the necessary steps in addressing this lady, because it does seem that there is some personal mission that she's on. I don't believe this is journalism. I respect the work of journalists. I think it's very important that any story that is newsworthy is published. I respect the work that they do, but what I will not stand for is unethical journalism, where it does seem and appear as though there's a you know, somebody actually, I don't know, maybe somebody's sponsoring this campaign. Maybe somebody has some sort of a score that they want to settle through this. However, I think they made a horrible blunder with this article because none of the facts that are there are true. You can go to A2 store right now in Hyde Park, ask them for footage for the entire week. Forget about Tuesday that they're talking about. Go and ask for footage for the entire week, and you will begin to realize that this is a very unethical, evil individual who has some sort of an objective of tarnishing my image, saying, publishing, because unfortunately in South Africa, anything that's in the newspapers, people believe it is factual. None of this has been verified. None of this is true. None of this is even close to the truth. Let me actually put this on record, you know, because somebody might say, but Sandile, maybe they got the date wrong. Maybe you didn't shop on Tuesday. Maybe you were shopping on Wednesday. Maybe it's 90% true. It is 100% untrue. I have not shopped in A2 even in the past 2-3 years. So this for me is a personal attack. This is an attack on my character. This is to create or further perpetuate the agenda that this woman, Julia Madiboho, is on. I don't know whether there's some sort of an incentive that she's receiving from actually pushing this narrative and pushing these articles. However, we are not just going to address it in front of you guys, but we are also going to take this up with the press council. My team actually did contact Julia prior to this press briefing. We did invite her to this room, and the reason why is I wanted her to actually ask me about some of these things, verify some of these things, because it does appear to me that for her, anybody can walk into her office, these sources that I don't know of, say whatever they want to say to her, and she publishes it as is without contacting me, without verifying with me, without, I mean, A2, if somebody approached her and said Sandile was shopping up a storm at A2, the least she could do is pick up the phone, contact A2, the store, and say, was Sandile there? How much did he spend at A2? And actually be able to verify whether what she was told by whoever told her is true. But for me, if a journalist can just hear gossip from whoever or a made-up story by whoever and publish it, that is very unethical journalism, which is why we're going to lay a formal complaint, and we are going to get to the bottom of what is it that this woman wants from me. What is it that she's trying to achieve? Because even the last press conference that I did, and this is, mind you, after an article was written that I am on the run, I'm in the Middle East. Meanwhile, that time I was sitting in Sandton having a meeting, and I get told, or I read and find out in the media that apparently I'm in the Middle East. Once again, unethical journalism, irresponsible publishing, irresponsible practice, because the least you could have done is actually verify this. And that's why I called a press conference straight after that article came out, to allow them, give the journalists an opportunity to ask me the necessary questions, give you the responses that you need. It's not every day we address these matters, and that is why I created a platform for a dialogue to take place and for me to be able to actually provide the necessary answers. She did not come. She did not come, which for me once again proved that the objective is not to tell the story as is. The objective and the mission that she's on, this woman, is not to actually publish news and give the public information that they deserve, but it is to create some sort of a narrative and whatever image that she's trying to create, or tarnishing my name at whatever cost. And mind you, once again, that's another perfect example of an article that was published which was far from the truth, because the time it was released, I was sitting in Sandton, and apparently I was on the run. And this whole nonsense, I mean, if you go through that article, I handed myself over in Sandton. Once again, I was not in Sandton. I did not handle myself over in Sandton. There's so much of this that is incorrect. However, I'd like to just put it on record that we are going to take this up with my legal team. We are going to ensure that we lay a formal complaint. I think we've had enough of this irresponsible reporting. I don't even know how the editors approve for such rubbish to be published. and for the media to consume such. I mean, this is the kind of nonsense you put up on your Facebook, you know, as a hater, or in fact, for me, even somebody putting this up on their own personal profile would be very unfortunate. I would expect somebody to use a fake account to publish such nonsense, because honestly, even, I mean, look at this. It says, in fact, go read the article yourself. Go read the article yourself. Spelling errors on this article, a whole lot of nonsense, contradicting herself, saying that I'm due in court in July, and then at the end of the article, I'm due in court on June. A whole lot of confusion, which tells you this is somebody who did not even afford me an opportunity to actually respond. My phone was not called. She's got my number. There's no email that was sent to me. And you can tell this thing was smacked together last minute just so they could push it out and achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. So for those of you who have been following my journey, I think I at least owed you that explanation and response to say, going forward, there will be none of this nonsense of me just allowing these articles to fly. I will be responding wherever an untrue article is published about me, such as this rubbish that I'm currently reading. I will not just sit in front of the camera, in front of you guys, and respond and allow you to ask me questions, but I will also be taking it up with the press council, because I think it's important that, you know, as much as we are held accountable as entrepreneurs, as citizens of South Africa, I think journalists need to be held accountable as well. We cannot allow this irresponsible reporting to continue unattended. Thank you.